Hello there, everyone, and welcome to So You Got a Scholarship, the podcast that centers marginalized voices in academia inside and outside the classroom. We're still in season three, and I did take a bit of a break, mostly because I was working and I was busy trying to do this grad school thing. But I'm going to be trying something new in September for the next 4 weeks of this month, or whatever makes up this month. So I will not be doing bi weekly, I will actually be doing weekly. But that is because for September, I have a 3 part solo series planned on grad school life, the application process, before the application process, after the application. And so that should be able to take care of that month at least. So that's making up for being disappeared in some way. Anyway, we're excited to be back on these interims. And if you enjoy this episode and would like to get more content like this, support the work on Patreon, patreon.com/6pod. You can also get in touch with us on our social media, Tidux Media House now on Twitter and Instagram. That also takes care of the other in-house podcast that we have. Or you can write us an email. That'll be in the show notes. Now, in today's episode, I have an interview with Victor Agboga. Victor is a PhD student and graduate teaching assistant at the Department of Politics and International Studies at the University of Warwick. He has been awarded 5 international postgraduate scholarships for both masters and PhDs in the United Kingdom, Germany, and the United States. And he runs a YouTube channel where he shares scholarship tips and opportunities. In the last 8 months, he's supported over 80 candidates with their scholarship processes, and they have won fully funded postgraduate scholarships in every continent in the world. And so this is pretty much somebody who knows about the ins and outs of this world. And I realized that while we talk mostly about things that happen inside and outside academia in this podcast, the title does have the word scholarships in it for now, and so why not talk to somebody who knows about it? So we talk about scholarships, the do's and don'ts of scholarship applications, why it is even a thing for some people to consider, and the importance of authenticity in the process. So I really hope that you enjoy this episode. Thank you so much, Victor, for agreeing to doing this. And I know we had rescheduled a couple of times, but I'm glad that we finally got the chance to sit down. And so to begin the show and this episode, tell us more about who you are and your academic trajectory and your academic journey up until this point.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. So my name is Victor Agboga. I'm a Nigerian. Regarding my academic trajectory, I studied philosophy for undergrad at the Imo State University in Imo State, Nigeria. Then I worked for a while, for 2-3 years, as a news writer, editor, blogger on the online space when it comes to news and political events in Nigeria and internationally. Then I got my first scholarship in 2017. By the way, I graduated 2014-15. So 2 years later, I got my first scholarship at the London School of Economics. And I guess that was where we met, actually. So I studied international development, concentration on development in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. Then while at the LSC, I remember during the exam period, while preparing for exams, I got an email from the German Educational Exchange Service, also known as DAD, but I also got another scholarship in Germany. And I was like, why not? And that was in development and governance. So more of like a political science oriented course. While at LS, it was more like a political economy, so to say, a combination between politics and international development. I should also say international relations. So from LSC, immediately after my exams, I believe 2 days after my exams, I moved to Germany for the course at the University of Duisburg-Essen for the course in development and governance. It was mostly political science. And then after that, I got a number of PhD fundings as well, because I think it's just a natural projection of trajectory to after 2 masters. I think everybody will be expecting to do a PhD. So I returned to the UK for my PhD, got a number of places. I also applied to the US as well and got a number of places. But I thought that the PhDs in the UK were more suited for my trajectory, and they were shorter. I had professors who were more laser focused on the topic. because I had to do some kind of coursework in the US, so I decided to come to the UK instead. And I'm presently a PhD student at the Department of Politics and International Studies at the University of Warwick here in the UK. So for my research, I'm studying how voters punish or reward their MPs for switching parties. Yeah, and that's it about me. Hope that wasn't too lengthy.
No, that is fine. That is fascinating. Your current research sounds really interesting. I guess we'll talk about that at some other point. But one of the things that you mentioned, which I find interesting, is that after masters, there's a sort of expectation to do a PhD. I just want to unpack that before we go further into the show. Simply because one of the things that I will be talking about in the future episodes is why people should or shouldn't do a PhD. For you to decide to do a PhD, was it because of this felt expectation, or was it something that yeah?
Okay, I think it actually began in my undergrad because I graduated as a first class, and people expected that, well, we got a first class. We don't expect you to just go and work in a bank or something. We expect you to continue since you seem to have this academic inkling. So I think that as well. And I feel most comfortable in the academic environment. I think that is where I shine, if I can use that word. And it was a natural projection for me as well. And I think also an expectation from other people as well. So I didn't succumb to pressure and just trying to fulfill people's expectations. Because I've worked already after graduation, after undergrad, I worked for 2-3 years, and I know what it's like working outside academia. But I felt the need to return to the university setting. So I feel it depends on where you see yourself in future, where you see yourself working, and where you see yourself excelling. And it's good to try your feet in a number of places and then decide. So I often tell people not to probably rush into a master's or a PhD. Try to work first, and you might just like it and decide to stay back. And you might try it and say, it's actually not for me, and I think I want to go back. So I did a bit of working. I think that's the point I'll try to emphasize. To go out there and see what is out there and see whether it's your thing or not. So it wasn't my thing to just, go to work and have a boss and outside the academic environment. So that's why I actually decided to return. Yeah, I think that's the motivation.
That's great. That makes sense. I think I had the same experience to try and take a break first and see if this was actually worth doing. Okay, so now I want to dive into what you actually currently do while outside your PhD research. One of the things that you do right now very massively is provide people with information on scholarship applications and scholarship processes and just scholarships that are out there for higher education. You have a pretty successful YouTube channel that does that, and I'll put that in the show notes. And right now, I just kind of want to ask you, why do you focus on scholarships? Is this because this is something that you yourself have been through? Do you see any other way, do you see an information gap? Or is this something that you just do because this is what you know? Why do you focus on providing people information on scholarships?
I think it's from a personal story and a personal experience, I must say. So I'm a first generation student. My parents did not go to school, but they're very intelligent people. So we shouldn't equate not going to school with lack of
Absolutely.
intelligence. Yeah. So they're very intelligent people, but they had this problem because they were not able to go to school because of financial problems. What my dad often told me that read and you won't suffer like me. He often said that a lot. And because of that, he often attended my PTA meetings, that Parents Teachers Association meetings. It was there to collect my results in primary school and high school. So they were very involved in my academic career, but they were not able to help when it comes to things like assignments, for instance, or things like giving academic advice because they never went to school. And I think my mom went, but she didn't finish. She went up to the secondary school, but didn't finish. And my dad only stopped in primary school. So because of this, they inculcated that spirit of striving through education, that your life will be improved through education. And that came to pass. That was a self-fulfilling prophecy in a positive way, because I think scholarships and education has actually changed my life from a first-gen student to now a PhD student. And I didn't pay for anything from undergrad to now PhD. It has been a full ride all through. So with that experience, I think there are a number of people there as well, very intelligent, but from less privileged background. And the reason behind my YouTube channel is to spread this opportunity to other people, use my story to inspire other people in similar positions, to also plug into these opportunities. And a number of people out there do not actually know that these things exist. I just thank God for the curiosity I had. Nobody even told me actually. I was like, oh, I graduated with the first class. My family are relying on me to do something with it to help the family. Are there opportunities out there that could actually help me? So I just started Googling one day and I found out, a world of scholarships and fundings, not just within Africa, but even outside Africa. And I was like, why keep this to myself? Why not share it to other people? And especially those with background similar to mine as well. So that was the reason behind my channel, to disseminate information about fully funded opportunities for those financially challenged. Yeah.
This is amazing. One of the things that you mentioned, I like that you mentioned things that are going to come in the future episodes, which is a lot about, a lot of people question why some people are pushing towards education. But for some people, we come from backgrounds where it is a means to an end. It is a way into something, and we should not discount that. And I like that you're using and you have created a platform in which you provide people with this information. So now I want to actually get into talking about scholarships and this thing that you do and your expertise. When you work with people, what have you noticed to be some of the biggest mistakes or misconceptions that people have when they're looking for, when they're applying for, and when they're deciding on scholarships for higher education purposes?
Yeah, I think one thing is about do not just focus about your background. So it's good to mention your background, how disadvantaged you were, how you suffered, how you walked 10, 20 kilometers to school. Yes, yeah, but don't stop there. That is what I noticed. So a number of people just appeal to pity, that have suffered. My country is bad. I didn't eat well. I didn't cook well. We have 10 children in the family, and they stop there, thinking that would get them into the university. But do not stop there. So tell them your challenges, but how you're able to triumph, or the little successes you made along the way. For instance, you could say, yes, my parents weren't educated, but they did all they could to send me to school, even though it was a little bit difficult. But at school, I tried as much as possible not to be discouraged by my background, and was the captain of the football team, or was the leader of the debate team, for instance, and went to a number of competitions and won, or was the choir master in the school or something. So show that how you were able to overcome that particular hurdle through your own little initiatives. So do not just make it a story of pity, and show that you also have this academic inkling that you're also doing quite well. You're trying to improve your background, showing how you're committed to improving yourself. I think it's important to say that. So in your statement of purpose, I think these things should be mentioned. Yes, how you suffer, but how you're able to put yourself out there to overcome these hurdles. And they'll see like a worthy candidate in you, because you're already making progress. You're already taking initiative towards bettering yourself. So this is one of like the major problems I see, especially from those from disadvantaged backgrounds.
That's something that I think is very common. And I think a lot of the people think that that's what you have to do to get scholarships, to appeal to PT. But I have a question for you. Do you think that this is also maybe because of the way the system is set up, in the way that I think maybe people think that they're doing that because the system kind of wants to feel like they're helping people? Or is that something that you have seen change? Is this something that's tied to sort of developmental, quote unquote, humanitarian goals of Western nations in particular, that people are trying to appeal to? Or is this something that you can see as transforming, and therefore maybe, as people that are applying and considering this, we need to kind of catch up and not do that?
And I think personally that, for instance, let me give an example with the LSC. I was required to write a financial aid statement. And in the statement, we're required to mention like the annual income, family background, and things like that. So I think they want to make sure that they're giving the money, the scholarship, to the person most in need. But they don't just want to give it to a needy person, but a needy person with promise, if that makes sense. So that's why there needs to be a combination of, yes, you went through those problems and how you struggle to fund yourself in school and everything, but also show that you're not just helping a poor person, but a poor person who has achieved a number of things already. So it's a worthy investment. So it's a two-way thing. Yes, you're helping the needy. Yes, you're helping those who wouldn't have been able to sponsor themselves. Yeah, that's true. But you're also helping somebody with promise, one who will sell your brand as well. So it's like a two-way stream. You're helping a disadvantaged person, but somebody who would promote you and shine you out and tell stories about you that you did something good. I don't know if this helps to answer the question. And that is why you have to show these dimensions in your essay. Yes, I'm a little bit needy, and yes, I need assistance, but I've also shown lots of promise. Who knows what I'll become tomorrow? So I'm a worthy investment for you. So the two-way thing. You rub my back, I rub your back. I think that's the idea, I think.
Absolutely. That totally makes sense. I can see that. And then, so you say that the way that people can counter this mistake is to show where they have, I guess, done well, or where they've contributed something to the world. How about, do you have any tips for people that are planning on applying in the future to scholarships, how they can now start in their lives, as in if there may be uni students currently, or if they're maybe high school students or whatever, somebody thinking that far ahead, what can they start doing to then have that part of their application fulfilled? I think that I'm asking this question, I just need to give a bit of background. I'm asking this question because I think a lot of the times there's a focus on you need to have good grades. And while like good grades are important, you need to also show a well-balanced thing. So do you have any examples about how people can start cultivating that part of their application, that part of their life, to show that they are basically more than just the good grades that they have?
Exactly. That's an interesting question. I think the answer is simple. Volunteering experiences are very important. For instance, during my undergrad, I worked as a student missionary. And I remember in my SOP, my statement of purpose, I mentioned the communities I went to, the initiatives I introduced, apart from the religious things we were doing there. So like the youth empowerment program, the seminars, the farmers cooperative society, and things like that. So it depends on the field you're going to specialize, but try as an undergrad to do a pro bono work, for instance, in that field and show impact. Mention direct names of communities, names of initiative, quantify your achievements as well. Like, oh, I helped raise maybe $2,000 for a particular cause for a local school in Nigeria, or I helped to raise some money for youth empowerment, and these people or that people benefited from it. So these are little things you could do, and there are lots of little organizations around as well. You might just go there, they might pay you, they might not pay you, but no, you're doing this for the future. You're trying to build up your CV, build up your statement of purpose, build up your profile. So I think what do they call it? Volunteering experiences, community service are quite important in this way. So they show that you're a community-oriented person and try to channel this community service to your area of focus. If you're into women empowerment and girl child empowerment, go into that. So I know a girl who during there's something they call a 1 year service, NYSC in Nigeria, National Youth Service. So after our degree program, our first undergrad degree program in Nigeria, you're expected to work for the government for 1 year as a form of national service. So they send you to a local community to work there. The number of Nigerians have leveraged this in their statement of purpose to show what they actually did and how they went over and beyond their normal job description. So I know a lady who went to a community where girls used clothes like rags for sanitary pads. And she used the allowance that she got from this national service to buy pads for them. And she went further to raise funds from churches, from local chiefs and things like that, to teach people to teach girls particularly about their hygiene and to get pads and things like that for them. And this is what she wrote in her personal statement. And of course, she got the scholarship. And these are opportunities people should look out for, the ways they could impact their communities and the way they could impact their society that will be worthy of note in either in their CV or in their SOP. So look for these opportunities and these gaps and look for how you can join an existing NGO or even start one yourself. Just as little as 1 life, 2 lives, 3 lives, you can always put them down. It doesn't matter the number, but it has to be clear that you're doing something to positively impact the society where you stay. Yeah.
That definitely makes sense. I think I also do want to say here that I think it's important that people do this not just because it's useful for scholarships, but also find ways of just being a good community member. If you are, if you can
That's
see
true.
communities in need, it's not just
I must
about
say
a means.
something quickly. I must say
Yeah,
something quickly. While I was doing these things, I didn't really do them because I was taking up a scholarship. Then I didn't even,
exactly.
well, I knew I was going to further my education, but then I didn't have that as a primary goal or something. But while I was writing my statements, then I saw, oh, I've done lots of things already. Why not bring this thing on board and mention them? But during those periods in those villages, I didn't really have that idea in mind. Like, oh, I was going to apply to the LSC. I mentioned these things at the LSC that I've done this and done that. Yeah, so it's, yeah.
Yeah, because things that are like that always I think the way that you actually told it is important, right? Because one of the things was that this was something that you were already doing and you just brought into your application. And I think the other tip that's the from what you're saying is that people just need to look around it at where they already are and what they have done, and not underestimate the importance of what they have done to actually be proof of them being like, being good community members. I think a lot of us are already doing some things that we probably underestimate because we think they're normal, or we're only doing them because we really enjoy them, we have a passion for them. Those passions are also important and can come in handy. So I think
A
that's
quick
a really good
story.
tip there.
I hope we
Yes,
have time.
we
Yeah.
do
So
have
while
time.
I was, yeah. So here at the University of Warwick, last year, especially, I think it was exactly a year ago, I applied for a teaching position. So my PhD funding doesn't come with a teaching position. It comes separately. So I saw this teaching position. I wanted to apply for it as an extra source of income and also experience. So they asked me a simple question: do you have teaching experience, whether online or in person or a blended form of teaching? And do you know what I told them? I told them about my YouTube channel. And this time last year, I think we just had like 1,500 or 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
So I told them about my YouTube channel, that this is how I actually teach people, and this is actually what we do, and how I teach how to write statement of purpose and SOPs and things like that. And I got the job and it was just a small YouTube channel then of just 1,000 or 2,000 people. So do not sell yourself short. I think that's the lesson. What you're doing already will just be the leverage you use to get what you hope to achieve, I think. So look around and see what you're doing already and try to, yeah, include it in your application.
absolutely. This is really important. I think, yeah, we've actually already gone into like what makes really successful applications, and by addressing some of the biggest mistakes or some of the things that we kind of discount. Is there anything else that in your work and in your teaching and in your channel that you have seen that you really wish I had asked you, that you would like people to know?
Well, in every interview I have about scholarships, I always bring up this thing. I don't know how it is in other countries, but in Nigeria, there are organizations, they call themselves scholarship academies. So they claim to help people to like package their scholarship documents and help them apply to programs. And often you see them releasing figures like, oh, 10 people from a scholarship academy got the scholarship or got into this school or that school. And a friend of mine last year tried to um, approach one of these academies and found out that the price they charge was quite exorbitant. And I was like, if the scholarships are about helping people and you're charging so much money, it means that you're giving scholarships to like the highest bidder, and it defeats like the purpose in the first place, don't you think? So I think there are lots of materials online. And if you're looking for a scholarship, please do not pay for anything. That's what I feel. Even if you're going
Yeah.
to pay, it should be something reasonable, not something that you pay your whole monthly salary because you want somebody to help you for a scholarship. And these people at the end of the day are not the ones that will decide, remember. They're just giving you tips. So do not sell your whole property just for scholarship tips for this academics. There are lots of things out there that you could leverage. Take time to do your research, look for existing materials, and you'll be fine. Do not pay anybody. I've heard a lot of horrible stories as well, even exploitation, second exploitation for scholarship tips. So it's quite messy. So if you're looking for, please, this adoration of past scholars or adoration of scholarship coach, I think it should be a little bit limited. You can do it yourself. There are lots of materials online already. Yeah, I think I have to put that out there.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think one of the things is that there's a lot of things that can go wrong because of people not having the right information, right, as well. It really shouldn't take that much. And I think that's what I appreciate about your channel, that you're just giving this information to people. It's easily accessible, and sharing that. So thank you so much for that. And speaking of your channel, could you just let people know where they can find you, where they can connect best with you?
Oh, it's just my channel. My name is Victor Agboga. So the Agboga is Agboga. So just type my name, Victor Agboga, on YouTube, and my channel will appear immediately. So that's just it. Quite simple.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so we want to end this with, can we do like a couple of rapid fire questions? Some of them have to do with, I guess, the show. Some of them are just to get people thinking about other different things. Are you ready?
Oh, that's fine.
Perfect. What are you currently reading that you're enjoying? That is not something you're reading for schoolwork.
What I'm currently reading is a fiction. It's actually the book is not yet out. It's written by a friend, so I can't disclose the title. But it's quite good, and it's about intersectionality between masculinity, poverty, and religion. So it's quite interesting. But unfortunately, I can't say too much about it for now. But it's quite interesting.
We're looking forward to reading it. What do you do in your spare time, among like outside your YouTube channel and outside your studies?
Oh, I watch movies. I like movies a lot, actually, and especially Nollywood movies. Nollywood, by the way, is a Nigerian movie industry. We're doing quite good movies lately, and I actually watched one just yesterday, throughout the night yesterday. So I actually enjoy a number of them as well. It's a way of connecting back to my people as well, since I'm far away. So, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. During COVID, what has been your favorite pastime?
It's actually YouTube, I must say, because my YouTube channel actually grew faster during the lockdown and the COVID period. I think a number of people were indoors during that period and they had more time to like probably watch YouTube. So YouTube was like the saving grace for a number of people, including me as well, I must confess. So YouTube during COVID, I must say.
Amazing. And what is the biggest lesson that you have learned in your academic life so far?
It's okay not to know, I think. You don't need to know everything. I feel I'm that kind of person who wants to like know exactly where I'm going to. I'm PhD, exactly not like that. So I feel I have a clear idea of what I want, or a clear idea of my argument. Only to meet my supervisors or talk to a number of people about. And they kind of refine or redirect me. And I'm like, oh, how come I didn't see this initially? So it's okay not to know everything in one go. Try to be open-minded, especially if you're doing the PhD. Try to be open-minded, and your research will take several trajectories that you didn't plan for, and that's okay. Do not be phased by it. Yeah, I think that's a good lesson I learned. I don't need to know everything initially. With time, I should just trust the process. I'll get there, I think. Yeah.
Amazing. That is true. That is definitely an important lesson. And the last question, what is one thing that you have said yes to most randomly, but you're very grateful for?
Which I'm very grateful for. I think about that. Yes, random. But I say going to Germany because I said it's quite randomly. Because I already had a plan because LSC was almost done. I was like, okay, probably I'll just look for a job and then go to a PhD or something. But Germany came and probably I didn't really plan. Should I say I didn't really plan for it? But I was like, oh, it's a new country, a new experience. There's also a language course, another way of learning language. So a day after I got the email, I just said, yes, let's bring it on. Let's do it. And that was it. It was quite challenging, I must admit. But I'm glad for the experience. I'm glad I actually went to Germany. 2 days after my exams at the LSE. But yeah, it helped me a lot. I think it's something I did without thinking much, but I'm glad I did it.
Amazing, amazing. So when you were applying for it, what were you thinking?
I was applying for the scholarship in Germany.
Yes.
Actually, I applied for the scholarship in Germany the same time I was applying to the LSC, but it takes the German medication at least 1 year to process it's quite long. They have a longer calendar. So I was already at the LSC when I received the email.
Understood.
Germany. And I think I was off on the waiting list. So I had like 2 extra months after other people have been contacted. So yeah. Like, okay, that's fine. Bring it on.
Amazing, amazing. That is really great. Thank you so much, Victor, for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it. And I really hope more people can just go to your channel and get any information and continue to be in touch with you if they have any questions.
Well, thank you very much. It was a nice conversation as well. And I am available to come back again in case you need me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we'll definitely have more to dive into.
That's cool.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode. Thank you so much. Do not forget to check out Victor's information in the show notes, and don't hesitate to get in touch with him. Watch some of his videos. Pretty cool channel. And finally, do check out our Patreon page to support the content if you like it. If you don't, that's cool. We're still here. Get your hands on some merch. Link is in the description for y'all. Ease of access. It's been great. It's really been fun. Until next time, keep dreaming, be kind, and be you.